Welcome back, y'all. Just wanted to say thank you for the feedback and support on the last video. I love getting suggestions and ideas about what to talk about in the future and how to improve. Keep that up. I love it. This might end up being kind of a long video, but after this, I'm going to try to make shorter uploads. Thanks for clicking on this video and enjoy. So, I have a question for you. How much do you care about the beauty or aesthetics of video games? Also, what are the aspects in video games that are most ravishing to you? Is it the music, the characters, the art, or the video game story itself that charms your interest? These two questions are very essential aspects of what I'm going to talk about in this video about Furi and why it's such a good game. Not only to play, but experience. Let me know in the comments what you think about these two questions, because I think these core values of these games and their beauty and art are really important and essential to what makes a game really just good. And it also makes the experience even greater. And that's the reason why I would like to dive deep into this conversation by using the example Furi.
I like her. She's a lot like me. She's clever, and she has a plan.
So, this game called Furi was developed by the game makers, and this is an all-boss shoot-'em-up action game. To many, and even me at the time, I thought this was a straightforward and simple video game when my homie told me about it. And well, it is straightforward, because in this game, you are mainly fighting bosses, and that's it, no side quests. But there is more to this game when you let yourself become fully immersed with the game's characters, story, music, and how beautiful the style of the game is. So you're starting off the game with you being locked up to these huge machines that are keeping your hands bounded. Then someone very peculiar walks up and just starts automatically torturing you. And he's saying that you're a weapon, a bringer of death, and that he is going to keep killing you over and over again. So I was thinking, this guy he is torturing must somehow be immortal. And this person that keeps killing me must be evil and sadistic. Then after this dialogue, you hear a certain voice.
I hear thunder. Bitter batter. Time to wake up.
So this stranger, or as we should say, the voice, is freeing you from this torment to finally give you the opportunity to escape. The voice equips you with a sword and a gun so that you can kill the so-called jailer. Then after the cutscene, the game puts you into a free roaming walking sequence that really engages you into the world, design, and music. And there will be a lot more walking sequences like this that will really engage you, and you'll really just love the art and design.
Kill the jailer. Fight for your freedom. The jailer is the key. Kill him, and you'll be free.
from that cell, I'll make you regret. You listen to me, and you listen good. You'll never escape. I swear I'll put you right back in your cell. There's an easy way and a hard way. Choose. Excellent choice.
This boss battle is basically like a tutorial for your first playthrough. Of course, if you turn it off, you can fight him regularly. Once you begin the tutorial, they teach you how to shoot, attack with your sword, and avoiding attacks. In this gameplay, I took him down a little too fast so he didn't get to see the dodging button. Once his blue health bar goes down, he is vulnerable to attacks with your sword to move into the second part of the battle, which is like a close combat range where you only use your sword. In the second part, you only allow to use your sword, dodge, parry, and charge attacks as well, which is another thing that they will teach you later. You notice that when you parry, you gain health, which is really useful. And once you take his health down, you go into the second phase of the fight. Also, any health that you lost previously will be recovered. And if you die within any phase for whatever boss you're fighting, you get a retry. But they regain all of their health back. You only ever get 3 retries in total, and also you gain a retry, or you could say another life like Pac-Man, by taking down the boss in that phase. There are more things you can do with your sword though, such as the charge attack that activates when the attack button is held down, and when you hold it until it's fully charged, you get a bonus on attack and a cool animation too, which is unique to every boss you fight. In this gameplay, you'll see me charging up my sword multiple times through the close combat phase. And this tech is only unique to the close combat phase. You start to glow orange and gain useful extra damage on your attacks, and you can use it with your charge attacks for even more damage. That charge attack can also be used while dodging. This game mechanics are just really super fun, and you will like speeding through the bosses, dodging, and attacking with a lot of finesse. So what you see here is the final phase of the boss battle, and this is literally the strongest and hardest phase, and it's even harder on Furi, like ridiculously hard. Once you actually bring his blue bar down during this phase, you can like get into the combat phase, and sometimes the bosses will have like invulnerability to any attack that you do, hence why they turn orange and go like really crazy with attacks. So on the final phase, what you see here is the hardest phase of each boss that you will encounter, and they are even harder on Furi, and they have like super large scale attacks, and they become much more difficult to dodge on Furi. And here it's not as hard, but it's kind of simple. But once you actually bring his blue bar down, you can get to the combat phase, and sometimes the bosses will have invulnerability to any attack during that phase until you're actually able to hit them and do damage. And it's like a one-hit attack to finish it off, because I think what they thought of when they was making this large-scale attack for the last phase is that, okay, they're dodging all this stuff, it's pretty difficult, so let's relax and have it just one hit or a couple of hits just to finish it off. After the final phase, you get this really cool cutscene, and from this cutscene, we become more aware about the main character, who is emotionless. All he does are these little to strong grunts when he's fighting. But to be honest, it's pretty clear how resentful and spiteful he is to the jailer.
You will be broken. You will go back to yourself.
Bravo! Excellent! What a thrill! Not your first time, right? Anyway, the good news, we're one step closer to freedom. The bad news, there's more out there waiting for us. But don't worry, I know them. I can help. Believe me, what's waiting at the end of all this is so worth the trouble. You and me, we're in the same boat now. Now let's get the hell out of here.
After the cutscene, we approach another walking sequence. You get more of a look on the world of Furi, and the music that is played is very intense, but at the same time is subtle, almost as if there is something to come after the walking sequence. And this will be like a consistent formula for the rest of the game. You fight a boss and then you go through a walking sequence, and they play some music that always fits the atmosphere. At this point as well, the voice has established that he's your ally. As far as we know, he seems to have more information than a regular prisoner would know. But how did he escape? It's nearly impossible for the main character to escape. Literally, he was powered down. He had no weapons at all. The voice will give you information about the jailers and that they know you are coming because an alarm was triggered by the first jailer called the Chain. Each boss that you will encounter will have their own name related to them in some way that we will go over later in the video, or probably the second video.
I'll tell you what I know on the way. But don't expect all the answers. It's all about what a man does.
So the next boss is known as the Strap. The voice gives you information about her character, and you gain the knowledge that she was a prisoner, just like you. So the jailers, or someone unknown, met her because she was finding something. But not only that, she showed up and just started destroying literally everything. Then as a result of that, she ended up getting locked up. And what's super crazy about that is they even built layers for her cage because of how insane and destructive she was. Which is why you see the broken walls, and not only that, they also restore themselves as well. So that even made her more frustrated and made her completely insane. Okay, so this is pretty unscripted, but hey, why not commentate the fight? So yeah, this fight was pretty fun. And honestly, the first phase is rather simple. All she's doing is really just shooting and a bunch of stuff. Yeah, I skipped there. And she pulls out a whole scythe on you, which is actually pretty interesting to her character. And her design is like pretty interesting. And like her story is like it's really messed up, because the speculation to her design and what the voice tells you was that she was basically an experiment, and they did all this like crazy stuff to her body, and I'm pretty sure that's not what she looked like when she first came to the jail. And this is all from what the voice is telling us, and it's kind of weird that the voice just knows like just so much about her. It's kind of crazy. Yeah, I like that she pulled out the side and get those counters in. Yeah. Alright. Yeah, okay. Yeah, her dodges, well, not dodges, but the counters for her are pretty simple. Nothing too difficult. Okay. Yeah, so just to remind you that this is on the Furi difficulty, so it's not like super difficult at all. And the reason why I wanted to do Furi, oh okay, this is her other phase where she about to change up her attacks. She about to pull out the feet. She said forget the scythe. We just run in hands and blast. Okay. Yeah, so this part she just like running, literally just running away, and then about to pop up and like do a grab. Man, I'm gonna be honest, like this music is just really good. It just really fits like the battle like so well, and that's one of the biggest parts that I'm gonna be talking about later with Furi, is that the music is just, it's just really great, and I really like this fight. It's really fun. But we're gonna skip ahead a little bit because I want to get to talking more about other stuff with the game. So we're gonna skip to the end of the cutscene of this fight. So the voice mentions prior to your arrival that they did way worse to her, which you can speculate that they did an experiment on her. And that's what I was talking about earlier about her designs. So based on her design, it does in a way support that speculation though. As you can see if you look at her design closely, that there are mechanical parts implanted on her body, especially like the head, which shoots out the giant blue beam that you had to dodge. So far it seems as though this prison maybe wasn't only designed for you but for everyone, and it was built in a way that fits them.
It all went so wrong, but we are going to make things right again, together.
Alright, listen, this is like the second time I'm saying it, but I really love the soundtrack in this game. When it comes to like video games and like soundtracks, like the soundtrack can really change the atmosphere and just the love of the game. And one of the good examples of that would probably be something like Persona, maybe even Dark Souls, or like Devil May Cry. Like honestly, Persona is a really good example. But Furi, it just, the music choices that they have and the atmosphere with it just matches so perfectly. And plus there's also some meaning behind some of the songs too, based on the song names. But yeah, I just really love the soundtrack of Furi. It's like really great. You should really take your time to like actually go listen to it on Spotify or something, because like Furi and Persona are one of the few games that I would go out my way just to listen to if I'm just trying to chill or relax. And they just really put the soundtrack in this game together so well. But moving on though, next up is a boss called the Line. He is actually kind of a mysterious boss, probably the most mysterious one because he knows so much from what the voice is telling you. He is a master of time and has the power to see in the future. He knows what is going to happen, such as your character getting locked up, but he doesn't interfere with knowing that was going to happen. He is literally like a guru in a sense. Like, as much as he is peaceful and calm, he's going to make it really clear to you that he is your enemy, and that since you're interfering with time, he's going to remove you from his and bring you back into captivity. This boss is like kind of tough for the first run, to be honest, because of the large scale attacks, and it's not much of a physical close-up attacks that you can do on him, but you need to use more of your dodging and utilize the whole area to your advantage. It is a little demanding, but when he uses his time powers in battle, it's actually pretty cool.
Welcome, stranger. I've been looking forward to this moment. I foretold your escape, but not how far you would get. I am glad you made it to me. Time is a picture in motion through eternity. When you appeared, everything got still. You made the picture stop. I'm here to make my clocks tick again. I can't kill you, but I can remove you from my here and now, capture you and bring you back until the next cycle.
Yeah, so for this boss, it's going to be, like I said, mostly utilizing your ranged attacks and just going around the area, dodging these projectiles. You can always like reflect it, but it's kind of how should I say, kind of like a waste of time, really. All you can really do, or what you should do, is pretty much dodge it and just utilize your charging ability to get around those blue shields, and just focus on one part, and then you'll be able to succeed this phase. Oh, and almost forgot to mention, like, when you keep shooting it regularly, it's reflecting those projectiles like off those shields. Oh yeah, and here I died too. Yeah, I was having a little bit of trouble because it's been a minute since I fought this boss. Last time I fought this boss was on Furi, and that was, oh my goodness, that was so demanding, like, seriously. But yeah, just watch out when you're shooting it regularly. You should probably just stick to charge attacks so you can, like, dodge less. So, alright, so I really want to take the time to talk about this last phase. This is kind of like a like and dislike some people may have about Furi, is like these large scale attacks. Now, some of them are pretty, like, okay, it's not a big of a problem, but stuff like this where it's just a lot going on, most people will probably, like, you know, kind of like shy away or step away from stuff like this because there's, like, literally so much going on. But honestly, this is like kind of a good and bad thing at the same time, because it really gives that I don't know, like, this kind of like really cool arcade feel, and I actually really appreciate that, and it looks really nice. I think the way they do these boss battles and these large scale attacks are pretty nice, but some of them can be a little excessive. That's because they're trying to bring a big challenge with difficulty here. So it's not too bad, but this one right here is kind of a big example where it's kind of like a like and dislike. But yeah, that's all I wanted to talk about for that.
Look to the sky, stranger. Therein lies your answer.
There is no fate. We build our own destiny.
Yeah, so one of my favorite parts about like this section of the game, like this specific area, is like really the music. I really love the music and walking sequence here, and the character and the boss itself is pretty like interesting because I like the mysteriousness. That's really what this game is. It's like giving you all this mysteries and these things that they're telling you that you're not quite sure about. Like here, remember what the voice says here is that look to the sky. He kept saying the dot on the sun, but no one listened. That quote is going to be really important by the end of the game, so it's best to really pay attention to that part because we'll be discussing that a little bit later. But yeah, this boss was pretty okay overall, but I do like the character itself and just how interesting and mysterious it is because he knew so much, like that no other jailers didn't know, or rather they didn't listen to him because he knew so much. He already knew that he was coming. He already knew what was coming this entire time, but no one listened to him.
My friend. Years of evolution.
Alright, so we're on to the next part. This boss is called the Scale. As you approach this new area, you kind of notice that this is kind of like a sewer-like area where there's a lot of old and decrepit things. It even seems as though trees were here. The voice tells you, look in this area, and that this was years of evolution, culture, and great intellect, and wonders of nature. But it was all wiped out in a single impact. What does that really mean? So he might be implying something caused this toxic or rotten decay of an area. At least that's what I'm thinking. This boss up ahead, known as the Scale, is a contaminated being from what the voice is saying. And for some reason he tells you not to really listen to him. Like, what's the deal with that? We're gonna find out, actually.
Sure, I could have stopped, rolled up in a ball and cried for the rest of my days. And left you frying on your rock. But I didn't. I don't know much about you. I've heard some bad stuff, and what I've seen, well... But we have one thing in common, you and I. We have nothing to lose. For every day we're locked away up here, we have nothing. We've lost. One thing about Fishface up there, you know, he got, contaminated. I'm not sure he's got much to say. He probably can't even speak at all anymore. But if he does, just ignore the crazy babble.
So as you enter this cutscene, the scale becomes immediately hostile and just ready to fight you. For some odd reason, he is blaming us as well for making him like he is and telling him that you are staring at yourself. His attacks are pretty different from the others because if his attacks hit, it causes like a blurry and dizzy vision on your screen. Occasionally, he goes under the water and pops up and does this really quick attack, and it's really good for a good parry as well. And probably this, I think this is one of the bosses where you can get a pretty easy parry, like perfect parry, I mean. So this boss is really fun, to be honest. I really enjoyed fighting this boss. Like even inferior, which is you know, obviously way harder. I really like this boss inferior because he's like way more aggressive and interactive, and his last phase is like brutal, like seriously brutal. I really had trouble getting past his last phase, but this fight is really fun because it's a nice change of pace, and it's cool with the combos that he's doing. And I also really like his design. His design is like really cool. And also we're going to be talking about the speculation that I have about this boss in a later video, because revealing it now will take away the importance and like the really big reveal of why this character is the way he is. Yeah, so as usual, I like to talk about the last phases of most of these bosses. They're like pretty interesting, and right here it doesn't seem too difficult. Okay, yeah, this is where it gets difficult, where he's utilizing the clones to the left and right of the screen. Yeah, he's utilizing the clones, like they're popping up out of the water, doing these circle, like these really weird round circle ground attacks. It's really weird, but yeah, it makes it way harder because you got this little tic-tac-toe set up here that you gotta avoid. Yeah, I got bodied there. It was a minute. It was kind of like a refresher because most of the gameplay that you're seeing, actually all of the gameplay that you're seeing is me playing the game again, because recently I have revisited this game, and honestly I really just wanted to do a video about it because this was one of my favorite games like years ago that I was like playing like a lot. And actually I still need to beat the DLC, One More Fight, and I'll talk about the DLC in the second video as well, because I don't want this video to be like super long. I want it to be at least 30 minute, hit the 30-minute mark. But yeah, I think it gets a little bit harder later on, I think, or I think that this is it, and then you go up and hit them. Yeah, okay.
Will we share his fate, or will life take an unexpected turn? Hope comes from the strangest places.
All right, guys. So that's basically it. Thus far for Fury for now. The part 2 may come out later this week or next week. Sorry if the pacing felt a little bit weird in this video. Kind of new to doing like a whole overview of like the whole video game, but honestly, to me, this was kind of fun, and I hope you enjoy your time watching this too and feel interested to play, at least so far. But the second video is going to be wrapping up actually everything, and I'm going to be changing up the pacing and what I'm going to be doing in the next video as well. And if you also want any updates about the channel, you can also follow me on Twitter. And also, please leave a like if you really like enjoyed it, or leave a comment about those 2 questions I asked you at the beginning about like what to you is important when it comes to like aesthetics and the beauty of video games. So I really love to hear about that, what your thoughts and what you think. Thank you so much for watching the video. I'll see y'all later.